Hi people, this is for your problem 6A2, which is very, very similar. If I make mistakes going along, just bear with me. In order to get the balances per the book and per the bank statement, you have to do just a tiny bit of digging. This is the checkbook balance right here. So you'd put the $5,100 right there. And I don't think that there are any items that I see here, deposit in transit, that's already inside your cash account, and your outstanding checks have already been checks that were written that are already subtracted and are reflected in that balance. So I don't see any additions. You got Bob Ryan's check, $1,500. That's one of our customers due to lack of sufficient funds. Well, there's a situation where we deposited this guy's check, okay, and we got credit initially, but then the bank turned around because they could not collect the funds from Ryan's account. What they did is they came around and subtracted the $1,500 from our account, so that NSF stands for non-sufficient funds, so that given that the bank has subtracted the $1,500 from their balance, we have to do in kind the same thing. So we have to subtract that $1,500. Okay, so that what's now done on the book side of the reconciliation will agree with what has been done on the bank side. That's the purpose of reconciling, is to bring the two balances into agreement with one another. What one guy has done and the other hasn't, you got to do to the other guy what the first guy did. The bank charged your account for $5 for a monthly service charge. You click in this field here and you'll see that there should be, right, a field for bank service charge. Again, what happened? The bank subtracted $5. You don't know about it until you get the bank statement. Okay, so there's a total of $1,505 that has been deducted, so that what we need to do to subtract the $1,505 from the $1,500, and that amount is $3,595. $3,595. So that should be correct, unless I did something wrong. There were no additions to the checkbook side. Examples of items that would be added would be, for example, if the bank collected a note from somebody that owed us money and deposited it into our account, and then they notify us later, and we don't have that addition, we have to add. If they credited our account for a loan that we took out and that we didn't add, they added it to their account and we didn't add it yet, then we have to add to whatever the bank added. So remember, it's always due to the other guy, the second guy, what the first party already did. So if the bank added something that you don't have in your books, you add. Likewise, if the bank subtracted something that you have yet to subtract, like the service charges here and the NSF check, you've got to do the same subtraction. Okay, so let's make sure that I did that right. And they say, well done. Okay, let's go to the other side then. That comes up immediately. So that what I need here in order to get the bank balance is I have to bring up the bank statement, which you can see. Your problem is in the book as well. You can see it on whatever page it is, but as soon as you click on that icon to see the bank statement, you can see the trend. So anyway, you need to come over to the bank statement here, which you clicked on this icon in order to get it here. You see all the transactions in February and you can bear out those two validate those two charges that you see for the NSF check and also the service charge over here. So we didn't find out about those until we got this statement. That's why we went over here to do the same kind of subtracting that the bank did so that the two balances would get closer. Okay, so as far as the ending balance, you probably won't find it in the book except right here, which is the ending balance of the on the bank statement. Obviously, the bank statement is going to show what you would logically expect: a beginning balance of 53, right, at the beginning of the month, plus minus all the payments that were made. These, I guess, were checks that were made. Okay, you see all these checks that were paid. Alrighty, and again, what we have to identify here is that, let's get that balance in first. Okay, that's 3715. So we'll pop that in, 3715. Now, what you need to do is, because, and they're telling you up here, okay, there was a deposit that we made. We had to check our records against the bank statement, and in fact, we made a, oh, there's no deposit, hang on, checks outstanding, balance check, okay, yeah, we made a deposit, let's say, toward the end of the month, which the bank didn't get. So that 2,000 was included in this 5,100, but not included in the 3,715. And that is why we have to add in order to reconcile the deposit in transit. So we got to do, like I said before, whatever we added to our account that the bank hasn't received yet, we have to, on the reconciliation, we have to, in like kind, do exactly what was done on the book. So there's the $2,000 addition to the bank balance. So that $2,000 is in sync with what the books show. And the deductions, excuse me, would be two outstanding checks. These are checks that we have written out, that we have not, that have already been deducted and reflected in this balance, but they're outstanding, which means the people have yet to deposit or they haven't cleared through the bank statement. So I see three checks here, one for 700, one for 1,100, and one for 320. And the thing with those is that you can't see those checks as having cleared, okay? Which means that they're still outstanding. So when I align my check payments with the checks that have cleared through the bank, I'm not seeing, number one, or they're not numbering them here, but I'm not seeing an amount of 700, 1,100, or 320 in terms of the checks. You see what I mean? I can't find any of those numbers, and those are checks paid, checks that were written but haven't yet been paid by the bank, so that we have to subtract. Let's see what it says here. Okay, so they make it really easy. You gotta subtract check number 111 for 700. You gotta subtract check number 119. See that, for 1,100. So they make it pretty easy for you guys. And you got to subtract the check number 121 for the $320, 320. Okay, so now we add up the sum of those three checks, and I get 2,120. So what I didn't do here, and I should have done, is gotten a subtotal up here. So that is very easy, 5715. So you got to get that in there, 5715. So that's like a subtotal. And then I come down and subtract the 2120, and I'm hoping I get the 3595. So when you do subtract that 2120 from the 5715, in fact, 35 is the reconciled balance, and they're going to have you, I can get rid of this now because the problem, at least the reconciliation, is complete. So let's make sure we got it right. And we did. Okay, then the next part of the problem has to do with uh, anything that was recorded on the book side of the reconciliation. There were no additions, so there'll be no debits to cash. But for the NSF check, the people that owe us are our customers, and we have to reestablish the account receivable for $1,500 and take the $1,500 out of the cash account, and the $5 that we pay for the service charge, that too has to come out of the cash account because the amounts, those two amounts are still included in the $1,500. So I don't